Hello, my name is Bob Cobley, and I'm the owner of Spectrum Lasers. I'm going to do a short demonstration about our two new lasers. Let me screen share. Here we go. I hope you can see that. And let me pull it up. Okay, there we go. Well, we have been in business since 1998 in San Francisco and Palm Desert. And we have come up with two revolutionary diode lasers developed for orthodontics. And you won't find any other lasers like these. These are lasers for artists. We have called an S-3, which is three lasers in one. It's a 980 wavelength, a 450 wavelength, and a 650. So those are three separate lasers. A 980 is for precision, like recontouring little thin tissue. 450 is for bulk, like hyperplasia, periculectomy, etc. 650 is for pain reduction, for pain associated with orthodontic adjustments. This is all in one unit. Now, there are some other lasers that have two wavelengths, but they're the same. They do the same things. These are three unique, separate lasers in one housing. Our S-1 is our 980 laser, which is an improved version of our 980, which we've had since 2006. And that laser, our previous laser, is what many consider the best diode laser in the world. This one has been improved, and I'm going to get to that. Our S3, all right, three important wavelengths. Now, you can do those dual also, which is kind of nice. So let's say you're going to use a 450. You just press the button for 450 for bulk. Press the button for 650 for pain reduction. And this is something new for us. They're still testing it. We know there's no harm at all, but you can do that. And you can also team up the 650 with 980. And I'll show you later on how you'd use the 650 for pain reduction. Now, our S1, our 980s, our previous models were a 3-watt pulse amplitude. Our new lasers are 10-watt pulse amplitudes. So the math is 233% more powerful. It's quite a bit faster. Now, we also developed a unique pulse mode. Our pulse mode in our old lasers were a millisecond, a thousandth of a second. They're now microseconds, which are a millionth of a second. So it's a short burst of energy, and then the tissue has time to cool in between each pulse. It's very important. Other lasers have a pulse mode, but it's basically for hygienists to use. So we now have a cordless foot pedal, digital touchscreen, really nice. You'll see on here on the S3, both handpieces are attached, and you just press the button to change your wavelengths. No maintenance, no calibration needed. There's the pulse mode. A 980 is 30 times more attracted to water, 30 times more than an 810. The old lasers are 810. There are still many lasers out there that are 810, which is way obsolete. Your tissue is something like 85% water. So it just makes sense that it cuts faster and smoother. All of our lasers, it's all science-based. This is no gimmick, just gimmick bells and whistles and things like laser whitening. I mean, why would you want to do whitening with a laser when you have to do it, where an assistant could do it with a curing light? It's just you heat activate the bleach. Also, we do not have single-use tips. Like if you look on the right here, these single-use tips, which every laser has, except ours, $10 a piece. We have a 10-foot-long fiber. It's good for 800 patients, and you trim off 3 millimeters per patient. So 800 patients, and it costs $300. With the individual use tips, 800 patients is $8,000. Now, I can buy these tips for 40 cents a piece. I'd buy a whole lot of them, sell them for $10. We'd make a lot of money on that. but they don't really work very well. The problem is that it has to be a perfect connection. If it's not, you lose energy at the connection and they don't always work, which means frustration for you. And we decided way back in 2010, when these tips first came out, we're not going that route. So our lasers are miles less money than everybody else. All right, typical cases like this, little cuspid exposure. With our laser, and you would use your 980 for this because it's really thin little tissue. And it takes about 20 seconds. We have Zoom training. We show you how to do this, but about maybe 20, 25 seconds for this. With some lasers, 5 minutes plus. And where that's important, I work with Tom Pitts and the Pitts Masters. They're constantly talking about saving appointments. Let's say you're seeing little Jimmy on Tuesday morning. He does not have laser scheduled. But if you know that your doctor time is about 25 seconds, you're going to have him bring the laser over and do it right now instead of a whole nother appointment, because it's really simple and easy and you bond at the same time. Here's one just a little bit thicker. This is probably 30 seconds. Dominic Backus in Birmingham. She uses her laser every day. Here is one that this is a little deeper. If you did this with the 980, instead of 1 or 2 passes, it'd be several to get down to the tooth. If you had the S-3, you'd press the button for 450 and you do this in 30 seconds, opposed to a couple of minutes with a 980. These little access gingivectomy is very simple to do, just better bracket placement. Another one, access right here.
If I ever feel myself choking already, I just stop and go somewhere else. Yeah.
See, nice and smooth. Let the laser energy do the work like cutting butter. Tom Pitts calls it the wow factor. So after you've done, well, through our training, I have you start out doing simple little things until you get comfortable with laser tissue interaction. Then we graduate to the wow factor, which is this. We talk about this in the masters. The braces come off on the left. That's not what we want. We want it's on the right. So the sooner you can do this, the better. The less time the patient is walking around with not a very good result with your name on it. Ideally, you would let the patient know the appointment before debonding that we recommend that we do this. So we don't have to stop and explain it and take a lot of time. So we're going to let them know that we're going to use a special laser, a little numbing jelly, and we're going to shape your gum tissue and make it look like this. We have many cases you can copy and paste to show the patients till you have your own. Now, also, some lecturers say that, well, you want to wait a month or so. Well, if it's really inflamed, but in our case, really inflamed, you use a 450. But you know darn well, this little girl, she's going to go to soccer practice. Every mom is going to want to see that new smile. And if it doesn't look very good, I mean, that's not good. You want to look great. Tissue might look a little red, but it's nothing terrible at all. We also recommend that in a new patient exam, the type where the patient might be going to 2 or 3 different offices to see who's going to do their treatment, show them this. Let them know that you do this. We're not going to refer you to the periodontist for $3,000 to $5,000. The patients, they don't have any idea that this is even possible. Here's a very happy mom.
Just have laser contouring by Dr. Frost, and it was just amazing. I cannot believe it. I am stunned at how much better his smile looks. When he got his braces off, it was a little bit of a letdown because I couldn't believe how small his teeth were, and I am just amazed at how his smile looks today. It's a different smile completely.
So if you did not recontour the tissue, she's going to be disappointed. It's not good. To do gingival recontouring, I go over this in training, but first thing I have you do is read this article by David Sarver on our training page about height to width ratio and the vision of what you want it to look like when it's finished. We're going to measure in the sulcus, and we want to leave 1 millimeter of pocket when we're finished. If we're doing that, if we do that, we're not violating biological width, and the tissue will stay exactly where you trim it every time. This kind of case here, again, in training, we go over it in depth, but we're going to debulk the papillas first. If you have an S-3, you're going to press the button for 450 and debulk that whole arch in 5 minutes. If not, you're going to use a 980, which should probably take, I don't know, 10, 15. And then we're going to press the button for 980 and do the precision, do the margins. It's pretty easy, really.
And I'm very careful not to go into the papilla. I'm not taking where the height or the length of the papilla. I stop before I do that. Otherwise, you will create a pepper spot.
He's going to thin some tissue here.
Notice on the suction tip, you can put a little carbide for minimal spot writing. Laser and tissue inside there. Now we're just a little bit thick right here, so I'm just gonna just do a little bit of cross section. Thin this tissue out. Stop.
Now, there are other techniques to thin tissue also, which we'll go over in training. But look at this. This is beautiful. Really beautiful. David Sarver on the left. I don't know, orthodontically, maybe it's perfect, but it's not a good smile. He trims the tissue, and it's beautiful. Dwight Fry in Chicago on the top. If he didn't have a laser, he's finished, and he would refer them to periodontist, which, of course, he wouldn't get done. The image in the center, the papillas are not completely thinned down, but they heal beautifully anyway. Todd Bovenizer took little teeth, made them longer, really nice. Trevor Nichols, gummy. Now they did not treat this with TADS, but gummy. Mid-treatment, we just need access. Vince Santucci in Wichita, really nice case, really nice. He hasn't had his laser that long. He told me he did 150 recontourings last year. He charges $500. He figures that's fair. It takes him 15, 20 minutes to do it. And $500 is doable. It's not $5,000 where they're going to decline treatment. So 150 cases is $75,000. But more importantly, it's 150 cases that are much better than if you didn't do it. Nathan Hansen, young doctor, really nice. Another nascent case, really, really nice. Seth Lucas, El Dorado Hills. See, this tissue on the left, it's pretty bulky. If you had the S-3, you'd use the 450 for that. Now, Dr. Frost did our testing with the 450 and the 650. And he said that the 450 it works like a CO2 laser without the expense and the maintenance, but also like electrosurge, but without the pain and the danger. So you can debulk this really quickly with a 450. And 450 is still with topical only. Another one here, I would probably use a 450 of that. Now, if you only have a 980, you could still do it. It's just going to take longer. This is a resident. So this doctor does not have much experience, but it's really a nice job. Trevor Nichols is really, really good. And see how precise that is? He's really good because he's really good, but also because he does a lot of these. I think he said something like 250 last year. Really, really nice. But that precision, you can't get that with every laser. You can with ours. Peter Siski in Hungary, very friend of mine, really good guy. Look at this. Really nice. Wasim Basid, maybe you know of him, Algeria. He does a lot of these gummy smiles that take a lot of time, a lot of work. And when he's finished, he gets what's on top. And he doesn't want that. He wants long, beautiful teeth. So he recontours every case. He sent me this case on the left. I looked at it and I, wow, the teeth don't look lined up, but they were lined up. It's just the tissue. Another one, you all see cases like this. Now, if you had the 450 for the S3, you'd use the 450 for this. But again, you can do this with the S1. Gummy smiles, that Dr. Frost has a gummy smile case or course twice a year in Arizona. Now, this is something a layman like me didn't know. It's not only gummy, it's canted.
Hi, I'm Dr. Trevor Nichols, and I practice in Mesa, Arizona, alongside the infamous Dr. Stuart Frost. I'm a young orthodontist like many of you, and I love doing laser gingivectomies. The reason I love laser gingivectomies is because all the hard work that we do in our cases to create beautiful smile arc and wide, nice, beautiful smiles, if we don't show the teeth off and they have improper heights and transitions of the gum line, it leads to distractions in the smile that aren't aesthetic. Gingivectomy is a really simple and easy way to take a case from great to amazing. We use the Spectralase in our practice, and this laser is so efficient, comfortable for patients, and really, really just the best laser on the market to get the job done. I encourage each of you to spend some time looking at the Spectralase and finding out what it can do to help make sure you show off the hard work that you're doing and the amazing orthodontist that you are. Finally, I would just say many orthodontists are worried about the time that it takes, the doctor time, to do the gingivectomies. And all I'm going to say to that is you can't afford to not do gingivectomies in your practice because this is your brand, this is your reputation, and this is the smile that the patients deserve. Let them show it off. Show off those teeth and tissues, and get out there and do some lasering. All right.
Now, this is billing the dental insurance. I go over this in training, but you can bill the dental insurance. And I have some offices that collect 100,000 a year. I have one office that's done it, well, more than one, but some since like 2004. No, 2004, yeah. Exposure, you collect about $300. Gingivectomies per quadrant, about $300 per quadrant, and it adds up. All right, this is the S3. This is bulky on top. And Dr. Frost did that. And he said normally this case would take 45 minutes with a 980, which is our 980, which is the fastest one. And now he does it in 12 minutes with the 450. Then he'll press the button and do the margins with 980. This kind of thing here, sometimes you're going to see this. And, this is a lot of work. With a 980, could even take an hour. And, over the years, that was the complaint that we'd get from our doctors. Oh, I love your laser, except for these kind of cases, it's way too slow. So it took us close to 10 years to develop this technology to remove this bulk hyperplasia fast. All right. All right, I'm going to demonstrate how quickly this 450 wavelength cuts. Now, there's a green filter on the camera, and I have the glasses on. It's a very bright beam, so I hope you can see it. But with my glasses, I can see it just fine. I'm out of contact, about a millimeter away, similar to a CO2 laser. And I'm going along, and right now, I don't have a timer on, but I think this is maybe 20 seconds. And I'm probably 3 millimeters easy. So you could see how quickly I could do a frenectomy, really quickly, or hyperplasia. That's the main thing here that we want to do. If you actually touch the tissue, your tip is going to glow, and then you want to kind of wipe it off. Now, all right. Damon Fisher in Georgia, he sees a lot of these. He can now do it quickly, like this. This is thick tissue. And the reason he's doing this is not for cosmetic reasons, it's because he needs to move his brackets higher. Now, this is how we would do this with a 980. Now, this isn't going to take that long, probably 30 seconds. What takes a long time is thinning down the papillas because this is thick, fibrous tissue for a recontouring case, right? Like for this particular case, we wouldn't do that, but we'll just excise this piece. Of course, this is topical only. No bleeding, no discomfort. Here's another one that Tom Pitts with the residents at UNLV. Like they did an injection here, but you wouldn't need to. Most of the time, like 98% of the time, you wouldn't need injection. Okay, now we need to do a human bath. Right there on the Oh, there you go. That's good, nice. Okay. Now, if you do give injections, you can do cases like this. This is in Errol Yim's office out on the Big Island. And they referred this. The patient never got it done, but he kept coming back. So they said, okay, bring out the laser and let's do this. With the diode, with a 980, probably 7, 8, 10 minutes. With a 450, probably maybe 2 minutes. Now, I'm not going to play this, but for a frenectomy, if you would like to do those, we go over that in training. We would use 450 and do it in about a minute. Oops.
Start right here. Just in
A perculectomy, I would recommend injection for these because they're thicker like this. I don't know why there's bleeding here, but you know this I would injection. You could do it with topical only, but you're going to go about halfway through, and then you're going to have to stop, reapply, and then come back. Like I said, I don't know why there's some bleeding that there shouldn't be, but this is with a diode with a 980. Only 5 minutes, maybe a little longer. With the 450, about a minute. This is a case that Trevor Nichols sent me. All right, patient comes in, they've got this pigmented line and they don't like that. So they want that removed. So Trevor set his diode laser 980 at about 1.0, 1.2, and just kind of lightly shaved off that pigment. I said, well, how deep did you go? Well, I went as deep as a pigment. And then about 3 days later, it heals like this. Really nice. Now, our 450 pain management laser. We have a timer on our laser. You time it for about 20 seconds. We do 20 seconds per quadrant. And you put a little sleeve, of course, on this tip. It's like a bleaching tip. And it excites the mitochondria. And it reduces pain and helps healing. Now, we found out about this because some years ago, we worked with Propel on an acceleration laser, and it didn't really work. But we had the pain management in the same laser. Dr. Frost did the testing, and he said, well, this 650 is great. It's like most of the patients see 50 to 100% relief for about 3 days for pain caused by orthodontic adjustments. So in this case here, this is Brandon Chadwell, orthodontist, South Carolina. He was in Frost's office and he's had a palatal expander. And I think Brandon might be maybe 50. And so he's having a lot of pain. So we used our pain management laser and it really relieved his pain. That wouldn't be the normal use, but you could use it for that. But there's a little timer. Now, there's a gray area that if an assistant can do this or not, because it's like a curing light. There's no heat at all. And there's nothing irreversible. It's just heat. But I don't know about you know, in your state if you want to do that. We're in 28 residency programs, of which we did not donate these lasers. We sold these lasers. Nope. All right. This is my contact information, and you can contact me anytime. And I hope you've enjoyed this little demonstration. Thank you.